Welcome to the Money Mentors Podcast.
As always, if you have questions for your money mentors about anything we discuss, you can always do that online at matsonfinancial.com. We know that for a lot of couples out there today, retirement planning can be complicated, but USA Today points out it's really two sets of goals, two sets of opinions, and 2 times the savings power too. So it is a little bit complex for couples, but they suggest 3 questions that all couples should tackle together before they retire. So I thought we'd talk about these this weekend because I have a feeling some of our listeners maybe haven't covered all of them with their spouse or significant other here. And these are all very important here as I look through them. Number 1, I think is maybe the most important, and it has nothing to do with numbers actually. And that is, what should our ideal day-to-day retirement look like? I don't know. What do you think? Do most couples come in with kind of that picture of what that daily routine is going to be like for them?
It's so interesting that so many different people have different thoughts about this. And one couple, I share their information with everyone I meet. And that is that Tuesdays are her day. You know, she can invite him along, or she can say, I'm just going to do my thing, but Tuesdays are her days to do what she wishes. His is Thursdays. So Thursday, he can do what he wishes. Now, once again, if he invites the spouse, they're able to go or not go. But again, it's their day to do whatever they want to. Especially, it's good for me because, you know, when you're shopping for Christmas and your spouse is there with you, it's really hard or difficult to find out something that they can't know about.
Right.
But when I have my special day, today's my day, Thursday, I'm going to go to the movies and instead go shopping and the movies.
Ooh.
Then I can make my little secret Santa work. So once again, day-to-day retirement, what it should look like is very, very good. Have that conversation, hobbies and those type of things. But also is that have the time set up so you can have me time. That's very important to have the me time.
And this is especially important if you and your spouse are used to being on different schedules, right? I mean, working different areas. So you're not used to maybe spending, boom, in the snap of a time period. Now you're spending every day together. That might be a little overwhelming for some individuals. So this gives that. But also, like Dad said, time for yourself because, my goodness, you're going to get busier in retirement. Especially if you have kids and grandkids, because shout out to all you grandmas and grandpas out there. Woo! But you get busier because we're working and things are happening. And hey, I'm running late. Can you pick up the grandkids? Can you help take this one to dance while I'm taking this one to soccer, right? It takes a village and we appreciate those loved ones. But we know if you're not working, we might dial you a little faster. And we have some of those grandmas and grandpas who we call them, right? They're not retired. They're in a grandma world or a grandpa world. And they'll say, hey, we need to cancel this review meeting we have. Let's reschedule it for next week because I've got the grandkids. And that brings us so much joy. But that definitely is one of the things that we talk about around the table in the very beginning. Because like you said, Jennifer, it's not necessarily that people have had these conversations before they sit down with us. There's some unique questions that we have, and they kind of sit there and they're like, I didn't know that. Or yes, this is for us. So it's good to have that to flush through.
And sometimes it's saying no. We had a client last week come in, and he's not married. His brother is. And so mom and dad will say, hey, can you run over this weekend and do this? Or would you help me take care of grandma and grandpa and do this? And he's like, I love my grandma and grandpa. I want to help my folks. But really, that's not my responsibility, number 1. And 2, I've got personal things I planned on doing and taking care of. How do I say no to my mom and dad who love me and take care of me?
Right.
And I'm going to take care of them. And I had an answer for him. I said to him, you know, this weekend I'm going to have to say no, that I can't do it because I had some plans I've already committed to. And secondly, I think we should make a pattern or when you want me to be there on a regular basis, I can do that, but sometimes I can't be there. So I need to set up a plan for us that we can do together and have input from both sides, but he's not committed to every weekend because he's, quote, retired and always available.
Yeah.
And I will say, this is not new to us. We are totally used to aligning different visions to prevent unnecessary future conflict. That's what we do, right? We're money managers too, but we also have this key component, and that's what we love about our lives. You know, we're family here. We get to know your family dynamics and help that flow as well for future harmony.
I love that you were able to give him that advice. Again, you've seen it. You've been through it before with your own family, with your own clients. So you were able to, help him navigate what can be a really tricky situation. So again, thinking about the day-to-day and that routine Really, really key. So that's the first question to go over together, or even, again, as a single retiree as well. Number 2 here, we finally get to how will the numbers add up for our shared vision? And a lot of people can differ on how the numbers will work out for them too. Again, sometimes you have savers in a couple and then you have the spender. I would imagine that gets a little bit tricky too.
Yeah, for me, this is one that I really diverse from the article. The article said that you want to try the 80% rule. That means that during work, if you're spending $1 in retirement, you're only going to spend 80 cents of that. I really have not found that to be the case, because when clients get ready for retirement, yes, they may not be driving as far to work, or they may not be doing lunches, or they may even have less expenses they would have for clothing or safety equipment, all those. But they're going to be doing other things in retirement, maybe traveling or going to see grandkids' games, going fishing on the weekends or whatever that is. Those are new expenses that you're going to do. So you're used to the amount of money coming in. Why would you cut that down? As long as you have prepared yourself well from a tax planning point of view, why not have the extra income to do those things? Because you don't want to be the person keep putting it off to your 70s, maybe 80s, and say, I'm going to do it then. And then you lose a spouse or loved one, and now you're on your own.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to happen soon enough. Let's do the things you want to do together, your bucket list, and make sure it's possible, but also take advantage of the time you have together.
And our theme here at Matson Financial is we don't stick to the rule of thumbs. That's not something that how we operate, because all of our clients and where they come from, what their goals are, how much money they have saved towards those goals and things are so unique and different.
Yeah, very individual.
And we love that, right? It's that great challenge of, hey, somebody wants to travel and do this. Well, we probably have had somebody who's done something similar, right? So it's not brand new to us, but there's some different complexities with your individual situation and your family too. So we're definitely not an 80-20% rule when it comes to anything, where it's about you, first about your dreams, goals, and desires. Then we look at the investments and tie that to it and make sure that you have this successful enhanced retirement plan.
So important. So again, how do the numbers work when it comes to your shared vision for retirement? That's question number 2 to go over together before you retire. And then finally, we get to number 3, which is probably the one that we want to avoid as much as possible, but is ultra important because of the devastating impact it can actually have on a couple's retirement. And that is, what is our plan for healthcare expenses? After all, we know those healthcare expenses can be quite high, and chances are one or the other spouse is going to need, some kind of long-term care along the way. I mean, this is a really tricky conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen between a couple before they come in, I think they'll have more of the other conversations that we had at a certain level. This one, I think it stops with, I don't want to do what mom and dad did or my grandma and grandpa did. I want to be more prepared, that type of thing. They saw somebody else go through it, and they don't want that for themselves or for their kids to have that burden. And so from there's a lot of education. There's a lot of possibilities when it comes to what healthcare plan you should be on, what type of expenses you're going to have, because nobody knows that. We know it can be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars annually. So what we're going to do is make sure we put a flexible plan in place that can offer some of these, long-term care benefits, possibly, if that makes sense for you. We've got Medicare Matt here, and he's going to make sure that you're set up on a really great plan starting at 65, and have conversations with your advising team, and your advising team having conversations with Matt, because you get to get removed a bit from that conversation. We have found that individuals will come to us and they have an estate planning attorney, they've got a tax preparer, they have an advisor, they have a Medicare or health insurance agent, and they have to be the one that connects everybody to make sure they have this plan that works. And it shouldn't be that way, right? Your advisor and your team should be doing that on your behalf. And that's the approach that we take here at Matson Financial.
Yeah, and the questions come around that you don't think about when you're going into retirement. You're not thinking about long-term care. That's way off, right? Just like retirement was way off. Now It's here. So will you self-fund in-home care? Are you going to purchase a long-term care policy? Or are you going to rely on family to step in and help you? Now, we had a client that actually came to us and been a client for a number of years, and he came back and he says, I'm so frustrated. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And he said that my folks have planned on us kids taking care of them in their own home. And as mom left, dad was left behind. And now some brothers and sisters made more time available to take care of mom and dad, and now dad, and others weren't having the availability of time due to choices they made. So now the burden's higher on some of the siblings and less on the others, and that's not really fair or equal. So as we worked with that client, and especially dad, we actually said, Dad, you've got money. I know you don't want to spend it, but how about this? Why don't you do some things for yourself, and we're going to have you go out and do things with somebody that you're paying, and when it comes to the kids are going to be here with you, but they need that time away from you.
Yeah.
And once we put this plan together, it worked very, very well. But nobody was willing to sit down and have that conversation because everybody thought somebody's going to be offended, because you don't want to offend your brother or sister.
Right.
You don't want to say, Mom and Dad, I don't care about you. I'm not coming to take care of you. Who should we spend money with or on? So it's all these wonderful things that can come up if it's just talked about transparently.
Want weekly lessons from your money mentors? Yes. Hit the subscribe button now and listen every weekend on Wood Radio.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Fee-based financial planning and investment services are offered by Matson Financial Services, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Lakeview Financial Group, LLC, Matson Financial Services, LLC, and Lakeview Financial Group are affiliated. To find out if Matson Financial Services is licensed in your state, please call 800-536-8907.